Hello everybody. Hope everyone's okay. Do a little change here. I'm just gonna move this a little bit towards me. And maybe the camera a little bit towards me. Let's see where we are. Okay. A little better, I guess. I don't know. Move this a little. No, this is okay. Hey everybody. Hope everybody's all right. Oh, there's some Morse code here.
Españoles en la mar.
Hey everybody, welcome aboard. How is everyone here? You're getting an echo. I haven't changed anything, so there shouldn't be an echo. Maybe I was not speaking. Whoa! My beer is spilling all over me. Second time that happens. I don't know what happens to these cases of beer, but the other day I opened one and it just like almost, exploded in a fountain. So I guess they had some kind of things happening. Let me just try to find something to clean that up here. Yeah. Okay, sorry guys. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Nice to have you on board, everybody. It's the time for the Shortwave radio show. That show where there's that guy from Montreal, Canada that talks about radio that only a certain few people understand. Nice to see all of you here. And yes, today I'm having a don de Dieu, gift from God. So this is my first. I have a 6-pack of it here. And let's have our first sip and start this show. Well, cheers, everybody. So, hey, everyone, welcome aboard. This is a Shortwave radio show. We are live every Fridays, 2000 hours, Universal Time. This is the time where we talk about shortwave radio, radio in general, answer questions, and so much more. Back in the shack with the SDR. After 2 shows that were outside, I almost did it outside because it's kind of cool. It's about 11 Celsius, but with a jacket on, it's not that bad. But I thought, let's do it inside. If it would have been like yesterday we actually reached 24 Celsius, about, 76 Fahrenheit, 78 Fahrenheit. Yesterday would have been possible, probably because of that. So welcome aboard, everybody. Nice to have you here. And, of course, we are here every Fridays, 2000 hours UTC. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And we're here to entertain and have fun with radio. I was tuning around 15520, a good signal from Spain in Spanish, 15520. And that's pretty much what we were checking out. So, hey, everybody. Welcome aboard. And yes, I am wearing the Google colors today. Hello there. There's a beautiful chat room for those that are interested. There's great people. You can ask questions. And great gang that's there to help everybody out. It's just a lot of fun. We have Bobby Burgess, EQ from WA5107 SWL in Louisiana, USA. Syrian Willow, nice to have you on board. RYD Coco. From Spain, nice to have you here. And as you said, no, 10. It could have been done, but I thought, let's do it inside today. Richard Cook, nice to have you on board from the UK. Says good, not too bad propagation today. So cool. Elton Byington, nice to have you here. And says Air Force Thunderbirds aerobatics team repeatedly flying over his QTH en route to Fleet Week demos over Baltimore Harbor. Can't see them, but they sure do make a lot of noise. They do, absolutely. K3JWA, nice to have you here. Matambale, nice to have you on board from Colorado. David Arden, nice to have you here. And 16 of us breathlessly waiting for the show to come on. I find it interesting when I start all the posting the information about the live show coming up and all of that, and I see that as soon as everything is set up, even though the show's not started, often 20, 30 minutes before the show, people already show up in the chat room. It's kind of cool. Brett Wayne, nice to have you on board from Salamanca, New York, KC2NXP. This is amateur radio call sign. Nice to have you here. Max Edstrong, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Jack N9IIF, nice to have you on board from Byron, Illinois. PLF Radio, bonjour, bienvenue. Toujours un plaisir d'avoir la France parmi nous. Always a pleasure to have you on board, my friend from France. Jerry DX, nice to have you here. Dan 805, nice to have you on board. Two Hands on the Radio, nice to have you here. Always cool to have everybody here. Hey, Radio Telescope, nice to have you on. Big Dan Cameron, nice to have you on board, 73. Pretty cool to see everybody here and see some new names. Nicola Hughes, nice to have you on board from Buckinghamshire, UK. Dax Farr, 74, nice to have you on board from Germany. We have Ronald Zuccalla, nice to have you on board from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Cyberflyer 1, good evening, nice to have you on board. Doing well, pretty cool. Show is only 6 minutes on and we're already at 86 viewers, that's pretty cool. And I even forgot to post it on the Yahoo groups. So, wow. Mark Cope, nice to have you here from Dallas, Texas. Donald Hosmer, nice to have you here. W8SWL in Northern Michigan. PA1WX, nice to have you here from the Netherlands. Innovision 777, nice to have you here. Sheldon Harvey, bonjour, hi, and talking about that, today's messenger was released. It's a beautiful little bulletin for those that want to join in the CIDX Club membership. So this is, let me just put a little more. This is what it looks like for those that wonder. This is the cover of the October 2018 Messenger Bulletin. This is the official bulletin of the Canadian International DX Club. And of course, you can become a member. It's really not expensive. $10 a year, $25 3 years. And you have this beautiful little publication in your email every month. You can ask for a sample copy, cidxclub@yahoo.com. Of course, only one. And, well, if you like it, you can actually subscribe. So this is pretty cool. And you'll have great things such as the headquarters report, the very interesting for QSL stuff, Arctic and Antarctic DX, logbook, the free radio scene that has things to do with pirate radio and all of that, shortwave station resources, the DX Listening Digest, DX Program Guide, Potting Along, technical topics, amateur radio news and news, CIDX News and Notes, What's New, Propagation Report, all sorts of things, very interesting things about radio, and this is a great, great little publication, so contemplate the cover of the October 2018 update, freshly installed on my tablet, or downloaded on my tablet, should I say, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. We'll be, of course, examining that a little later today. Nice to have everybody here. What else do we have? Let me just continue down the list. We have Richard Cook talking on 13134. Huh. Let's check it out. Anything here? There is something on 13134, absolutely. Fading in and out. Sounds like Spanish. Could it be Spanish? There's something on 13134. Anybody else listening to it can confirm they hear what language it is? Seems to be better in upper sideband. 13134. There's definitely something. I'm hearing it too, Richard Cook. Radioactive, nice to have you here. William Helms from Florida, nice to have you on board. Bobby Burgess, well, not necessarily for outdoor listening, not necessarily too cold. I mean, with a jacket on, I think you can you know, listen in, especially in the sunshine. It's kind of, the sunshine's warm enough, you know. Nicolaus got his cat, Rosie. Nice to have you here and have the cat also. Paul the cat is outside somewhere. Radiogram in 26 minutes on 7780. And so if you guys want to decode the radiogram, it's always starts in MFSK 32. David Arden says sizzling 34 Celsius in sunny Georgia. Wow. Jason Stafford, nice to have you on board from Oregon. Nice to have you here. Michael Fuca, nice to have you here. 73. David in Barcelona, nice to have you on board. Raptor 22 Stealth. Nice to have you on board from Barcelona, Spain. Innovision 777 says WE4LUV here, Mississippi. Cool. Nice to have you here from Mississippi. Sean Fahey, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Dan Walsh, nice to have you on board from a cloudy New York City, you say. So that's here. Was sunny most of the day, but there's some cloudy periods. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, radioactive is KF7ELY. Paul Smith, UK ears are on and listening. Cool. Casper Peterson, nice to have you on board. We have James Caddy, Michigan, USA. Nice to have you on board. Taking his ham test next week. Good luck. I'm sure you're going to have a great time and get your license, my friend. Movie Man 44, nice to have you on board from Ohio. Juan Amigo, ¿cómo está? From Barcelona, Spain. Calvin, nice to have you here. Pretty cool to see everybody on board. Kimberly, K6YYL, nice to have you on board. Well, the weather was warm yesterday. We reached 24 Celsius, about 76 Fahrenheit. Today's sunny, but it's cool today, about 10, 11 Celsius, which is what, 50s. And but it's going to warm up. We're going to get close to 70s next week, a little warmer than usual. As the west of Canada is under the snow and cold, the east is in variable to warm weather. It goes up and down day by day lately. Yes, Yahoo groups do still exist, radioactive. I'm a member of the DXLD, DX Listening Digest, Glenn Hauser's excellent group for radio. Another one that I am a member of is HF Monitors. It's just a lot of posting of all sorts of logs and people listening stuff. Pretty cool. Nice to have everybody here. Michael Foucault is from Alexandria, Louisiana. Pretty cool. And he's got a Texan PL 880. Nice. David Arden says, like the maple leaf on the cover. Yeah, well, of course, it's the Canadian International DX Club. Paul Smith, 2E0RTE. Nice to have you on board, my friend. And as Sheldon just mentioned, CIDX Club at yahoo.com. Get a sample copy. And maybe subscribe. Pretty cool. So, what else do we have? Nicolas says, last week I managed to receive E07, brightest day on my Texan PL660 with standard telescoping antenna at noon. I like the Rectum PL660. It's a Texan PL660 until it breaks down and it becomes a Rectum PL660. Radioactive has nothing in Oregon on 13134. I like that. I like that autocorrect. Texan to Rectum. Oh God, he's got a Rectum PL660. Bend over and listen to Shortwave. God. Brett Wayne has nothing on 13134. Jack Amalar, nice to have you here. And Y8D from West Michigan. And David Arden says 2 people have subscribed to YouTube channel. The thing is, I don't have a YouTube channel. Go figure. Well, it's kind of it's kind of automatic. You are associated with one, even if you have done nothing with it. Honestly, so I don't know. Just because it's there, if you have a Google account, you're kind of guaranteed a YouTube because it's the same thing, even if you have no videos. Neil Toombs, nice to have you here, says, I'm lurking as per usual. Neil, M0 CJM in Hampshire in the UK. Cool. Pretty cool. Nicola Hughes, I have to tweak my autocorrect settings if that's going to help. You know what? I have autocorrect. I write half the the time that I write in French for my friends here, and half the time I write in English. And I can tell you, bilingual on autocorrect, always a ton of crap. Always a ton of crap. It takes 100 times more effort to write something. So I end up all the time turning off autocorrect and just forgetting about it. It's crazy. Xander Marks, nice to have you here. J021DM in the Netherlands on board again after much QRL and too less free time. Yeah, free time is the big problem. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's definitely something on 13134. Sounds like a feed of some sort. I'm just going to check something here. There's no results there. That is interesting. What is that? 13134. There's something there. I don't know what that is. Terry Cook, KF7BQ in Missoula, Montana. Nice to have you here. David says, just fired up. Is ICOM 8500. Strong European pirate in the 6270 with Frankie Goes to Hollywood's War. Peking S9. Pretty cool. Fast Load, hey there, nice to have you here. Grant Pearson, nice to have you on board. Hunter Ham 9, thoughts on the Texan PL600? I just got it in the mail. I was expecting the 660, but my dad tricked me. Huh. It is still a good receiver. I would say that the main difference between a 600 and 660 is the fact that the audio is harsh a little bit on the 600. It tends to have a little harsh audio in it, but it's still a great radio. You're still going to enjoy, I think, some good listening with the 600. So should be okay. Artie Gideon, nice to have you here. Your shows are great. Are you on this Saturday? Yes, I am. I will be here tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC again. Tomorrow we're going to have one of those pirate radio specials. We'll try to chase pirates tomorrow and see if somebody, who knows, might be actually broadcasting my audio tomorrow during the live show. Anything is possible. So it's old radio special, yeah, with the Grundig here. Kamal Garti, nice to have you on board. 101 radio station I am. Lana, I would have sent earlier this in satellite and radio vacancy radio, networking and engineering. Okay. Michael Fuka, yeah. What? Bend over and listen to the radio. Why not? Oh, God. German weather station on 5905, says Richard Cook. Brian, Iowa, nice to have you here. Just listening to Hamnet on 14255 out of Florida. So pretty cool. 200 radio, says Texan, the best brand of portable radios in the end. You know, most of the Texan receivers are really good. Absolutely. I do abide by the fact that Texan receivers are amazing. You know, a lot of their models are pretty good, not too expensive. The Freyer 135 is the Yaesu FT60R dual band handheld, 5 watt, a good choice for HT. Now you will have to ask the chat room. Anybody have any hands-on experience on the Yaesu FT60R dual band handheld? Yaesu usually makes good devices, I would say. Dave Freeman, nice to have you on board from New York. And yeah, if I can get to it, absolutely. The ICOM will eventually be online 24 hours via Global Tuners. I just need to set it up properly for that, and it will be there. Max S. Strong says, my PL 880 is becoming my favorite portable. Lovely little radio. Cool. It is a great radio. Ivan Cholakov, nice to have you on board. Good afternoon. Red Wayne says, I have one video, 19 subs, and 120 views. Go figure. Yeah, you know, there are these things sometimes. I have one channel that I've never posted anything else. It has one video on it. I can't remember the name of the channel right now because it's been too long since I've checked. There's only one video on it. Only one. And it's got 1.5 million views. And I was looking at that and I was like, what the hell is that? You know, it's okay. Go figure. Ivan says, can receive 13134 week in Florida in upper sideband. So, you know what? PLF Radio says maybe a pirate on 13134. It could be one of those South American feeders. I've, over the years in the 13 megahertz range, I've heard often transmissions like these. Most of them were in Spanish most of the time. And I know that there, in the 13 megahertz range, there's a lot of feeders, like studio to transmitter, especially when they do special events. So if there's some kind of special sporting event or something going on, sometimes they fire up that feeder and then you start listening to a station in Spanish. Over the years, I've heard maybe a dozen of those in the 13 megahertz range. And I remember posting that in the DX Listening Digest group, in Glenn Hauser's group, and Glenn Hauser replying back to me that there were a lot of Argentina and Brazilian and all of these studio to transmitter links, and they pop up on 13 megahertz most of the time. So I'm wondering if that on 13134 could be that. I can't make out the language. I really can't make out the language. 13134 upper sideband, but that's a mystery right now. Nicolas says, if E07's nickname is the Englishman and I'm based in the UK and receive it, that, well, with substandard propagation conditions, then would you reckon it may broadcast from England? I'm not sure of any left UK number stations, but anything is possible. But I think, like Richard Cook says, E07 is from Poland. And I'm not aware of any active number station from the UK for a while. So I don't know. PA1WX says propagation conditions were good on 14 megahertz today. And now it's evening 22:20 there. Pretty cool. So yeah, E07 is from Poland. Richard Clemens, I have a 3.0 communications receiver, JR310 on the way from eBay. Needs a bit of work done, but on it. But here's hoping. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. PLF radio still can't get an XH Data D808 in Canada. Way too expensive. I haven't found one at a decent price in a long time. Bobby Burgess says he's got a PL 380 that is messed up. Yeah, I remember he had something going on. So Paul Smith that says 13134. It's a Spanish USB transmission, clear on USB here. So it's definitely, it sounded Spanish, but it's not strong enough that I can ID but it did sound like it was a Spanish transmission. So you confirm it's Spanish. I wouldn't be surprised it's some kind of studio to transmitter link from somewhere in South America. There often are those on 13 megahertz. Very often. Dexfire loves his XH Data D808. He's got no Texan. Charlie Ussel, 55. Nice to have you here. Got his new Kenwood TS590 today on his 1,000 foot loop. Working great. Cool. Charlie Ussel is hearing 13134 strong in Baltimore. So it's kind of interesting. It's I would guess it's something from South America. It's my guess is a studio feed from some local FM or AM station in South America, and it's broadcasting on 13134 upper sideband. Interesting that we hear that. Thanks, Richard, in the UK, to mentioning that. Kind of interesting, mysterious station today that we're hearing. PLF Radio loves this XH Data D808 too. Everybody that has one seems to really love that radio, I can tell you that. So yeah, I saw that, Richard. You've got a new Alex SDR now. Pretty good, pretty good. I saw that you were on the SDR this week. I saw one of your posts and I was like, oh, Richard's got an SDR. I was surprised. So congratulations on that. You love it? How do you like that? How do you like tuning with a computer? Delva 65, hey there, nice to have you on board. Billy Laptop, nice to have you here. Just bought an SDR Plate RSP1A. I'm having a lot of fun with it. These are really a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Red Coco says there's a video from 2015 on this channel. 13134 upper sideband identified as Olympia Maritime Radio. It's, Can anybody confirm that it's Spanish? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because I believe 13134 isn't that in a maritime band of some sort? I think it's in a maritime band. Let me just check it out here and see. Maritime band frequencies. Maritime band frequencies, or HF. Just looking here at, so there's 12 megahertz. Now 12 megahertz has a maritime band, but not 13. So it's kind of interesting. Huh. We've got a mystery on our hands. We need Scooby-Doo to help. Scooby and the gang. We've got a mystery. Donald Hosmer prefers his XH Data D808 over his Texan PL660. That's kind of interesting. Danny Shortwave Radio DX, nice to have you on board from Yonkers, New York. Michael Fuka says, my first radio was a Heathkit JR64. Missed the warmth of the tubes on a winter's night. The wonderful moments spent with that radio. There is something special about that, The tube smell. When you turn on a tube radio, and the smell that comes, especially when it's been a long time. Probably the the cooking dust on the tubes and the burning dust, and but the smell. Man, I'm gonna bring out my all my American 5 tubes. You know what? I want to put a lot of my tube receivers on the top here, and have them plugged in, ready to run when I want to listen in. Yvonne's got a Ethon satellite. PA1WX says the 590 is a good transceiver. He's got one. Cool. Matt S. Strong says, hear nothing but great things about a Kenwood 590. Great receiver. Cool. Cool. Very nice. What else do we have? Going down slowly. What else? Richard Cook's got the Gander Vomit on 10051 because that's the frequency, 10051 upper sideband. Donald Hosmer says exchange data DNO8 only available in North America via eBay for about 122 shipped. I got mine for 75 from China when they did ship direct to USA briefly. Yeah, because here the price that I have is something like, the ones that I found were not including shipping on the price. There was $122 for the radio US plus shipping, which means I would have paid $200 Canadian for it, which is way too much that I want to spend for that radio. So yeah, I know. So, some are dumb. When you see these people that actually are on eBay and selling these radios for like, $150 plus $200 shipping. Yeah, sure. Hey, we're 121 viewers right now. Not bad. It's a good viewership for the first 30 minutes. Fernando Screcci, nice to have you here from Fernando from Philadelphia. Pretty cool. Big Dan Cameron uses a Radio Shack DX394 and a Alinco DJX11. Cool. That's interesting, Sheldon. Thanks for confirming. Because it would match what we heard earlier about this being Olympia Radio, which is the Greek maritime station, right? So Sheldon says 13134 sounds like the language is Greek, because I can't make it out here. I can't really make it out, and I'm not used to listening to anything in Greek. So although I did have Greek, if it would have been clear, I would have known if it's probably Greek. So this would be Greece. It would come from Greece. 13134. It would probably is Olympia Radio from Greece. Then that would confirm what we're getting now. And confirms what, who said that earlier, that 13134 was Olympia. Right, Coco, RYD Coco. He said that on the video in 2015 on this channel. 13134 upper sideband, Olympia Maritime Radio. So that's Olympia Maritime Radio. I think we've pretty much put the finger on it. Lou Rubens, nice to have you on board. Pretty cool to have everybody here. Yvonne confirms 13134 getting stronger here. It is Greek. Cool, it is Greek. Paul Smith says 13134 South America has turned the beam and now booming. Maybe it's going around because now people are confirming it's Greek. So that means it's coming from Greece. It's probably Olympia Radio from Greece. We're kind of pinpointing it now. Vancouver Island DXer, nice to have you here, says hearing 13134 upper sideband here in the West Coast. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Hey, Cosmic Lettuce, nice to have you on board from your day job. I'm having a sip of beer to accompany you in your job. Brian, Iowa, nice to have you here. Says, remember on Gilligan's Island, the professor would try and turn the AM/FM radio into a transmitter to call for help? Yes, I do remember that. They had so much that they could do on that island. It was incredible. Not counting that Ginger had like 1,000,000 dresses, and you know, it's like, wow, for a small boat, you sure have a lot of stuff there. So it's Greek. So we got Olympia Radio from Greece. SVO Olympia Radio from Greece. So we've got confirmation, and thanks everybody for the, you know, that's the teamwork. As Ivan says, 13134 is licensed to SVO Olympia Radio from Greece. So we've got it. Greek coastal station relaying Greek radio station to their ships and boats at sea. So that's nice. That's nice. But you know what, Paul Smith? It might be that you're getting kind of a long path. So if you're pointing your antenna south, it's not impossible that you're receiving the signal like it's just going, you know, in the direction, general vicinity. You know, think about it. Greece probably is broadcasting that coastal station towards the Mediterranean. So they would maybe broadcast south, which means that if you have a long path, you might be actually receiving it from the South Pole. It might be just going all the way around, and it's not totally impossible, Paul, that you're receiving it better in that direction. Maybe that's from where we're receiving it actually. Maybe you are receiving it a long path transmission rather than having a direct, you know, east-west from Greece to North America, for example. It's not impossible. So, you know, that's totally possible. What else do we have? Richard Cook says, very strong now, 13134. Danny Shortwave Radio DX, nice to have you here. Matam Ballet. Let me just go down here. Hey, Ray L, nice to have you on board. Checking from Southern Illinois. Nice to have you here. Hope you got a few more subscribers thanks to my little shout out to your YouTube channel, Ray. Vancouver Island DXer says my old 2008-2009 Klinghoffer's book list 13134 is being used by coastal stations. So it's possible. It's possible because I mean there's a lot of maritime stuff in that area. There's maritime weather from the different channels on like 13089, 13110. So it's something about coastal maritime stations, absolutely. Radioactive. Anyone picking up WRMI on 7780? I'm not getting it anymore. I don't know if they stopped. 7780. I've got a very, very, very faint carrier. Very faint, almost inexistent. Really almost inexistent. All India Radio coming in on 7550. So we've got India 7550. 7550 for India. Enough Radio can get 13134. Thanks for getting looking forward to my Halloween show. It's remember guys, my Halloween show will be on October 30th. As on October 31st I will be at a concert, so I cannot do the show on October 31st. Luis Sarivalo, love your t-shirt. Where can you get one? Well, I got it. It's a gift from Google. So I don't know. I'm sure if you look online, there are some places where they sell these. I'm sure somebody sells something that looks like that. But this and my YouTube shirt of the other day I've received because of my participation to a YouTube event this weekend, tomorrow night. So tomorrow's show might be a little shorter than usual because of that. Yeah, 120 viewers, that's great. PA1WX, absolutely. Kimberly K6YYL says, love my Kenwood TS480HX 200 watts on all bands except 6 meters. Cairo on 98.95. Let's check that out. Wow. Their audio is actually good. A little low, but it's actually good. It's in French. Radio Cairo in French, 98.95. Yvonne, in Canada, you have the Ethan satellite for $149. What do you need the radio from China? Just having different radios. That's it. You know, it's fun to have, especially on this channel. I talk about radio, so it's important to have different types of radios. What else do we have? B1WX, Kenwood TS480, good transceiver. Even McRoberts, nice to have you here. Says recently picked up a Kenwood TS140, great HF transceiver. A lot of what Kenwood does is, in general, quite good, honestly. Yeah, that, like Danny Shortwave says, you probably can get those on the internet somewhere. I'm sure some people, some sellers have some Google T-shirts like these. This one's nice, but I got it given. It's given to me by Google. This one and my YouTube. I got two. They were given to me because of my participation in a YouTube event. But I'm pretty sure I've seen some sellers online that sell these T-shirts. Ray L says there is a Drake R8B on eBay for almost $1,700. It's sold for $1,300 new and back in 2005. At that price, no one's gonna buy it. I'm sorry, but it's totally nuts to buy a Drake R8B at $1,700. You can't. That's not gonna sell. You know, there's one thing about radios and eBay that you got to be careful, because you get that all the time. You see these radios on eBay, and then you get, you know, a local ad, or you go to a ham fest, and the guy says, hey, I want $500 for that thing. And you're like, well, that's too expensive. I'm not going to buy it. And they say, well, did you see the price on eBay? Yeah, but did you see the guy selling it? No, they don't sell it. The guy's going to, at $1,700, that guy's not selling that, for sure. Sure. No one will pay that. You know? Even if I'd be a millionaire, I wouldn't pay $1,700 for that. I mean, come on. It's you know, you got to stop being crazy, I can tell you that. Oh, did I? Well, I can't remember. So I logged it from Perry Island Day Expedition in May 26, 2015. Maybe I should look back at my old videos from 3 years ago. You know, the other day I was thinking of I should go back and start looking at my first videos of logs from like 5 years ago. I mean, there's a lot of stations that disappeared from the band since then. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I'm going to look at and it's like, oh man, I remember. So this is interesting. I logged it. Okay. Fastlow's got 98, 95 strong. So wow, okay. I didn't remember that at all. I mean, 2015, that's 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I didn't remember at all. At all. That's interesting. You know, sometimes it happened a few times that I, you know, Google frequencies because I'm hearing something and I'm wondering what it is. And one of the first results that pops up is YouTube, and it's one of my own videos saying, hey, 4 years ago you heard that thing. I just didn't remember. You know what? I don't even remember receiving it from Perry Island from 2015. I mean, wow. Okay. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to have to check that out. I need to look at my channel a little more. You know, we look at others' channels, but we don't really look at our channels much. So there's stuff that you post like a long time ago, and you just forget. Wow. Okay. PLF radio, 9420 kilohertz, very good signal. You know, Greece is always very good in general. Greece, 9420. Yeah. Good signal from Greece, 9420. I miss the times when they had their English language to North America. Fastload says 9420 strong too. So transmission has ended. Transmission has ended. Fastload scored the SX190 last Amfest. Cool. Paul Smith says, yes, correct, Joel. Louis is good for New Zealand in the morning here. So, you know, it's just interesting. I have updated the online map of radio stations broadcasting in English. Check it out. So, radioinenglish.com. I'm going to check that out. Yeah, 13134 is quiet now. It probably went out the air. Okay, well, that was nice. I haven't heard that since 2015, I guess. So I didn't have any idea what it was, but that means my videos are becoming a source of information of unusual stuff. When you post a frequency, you start getting some of my older videos saying, yeah. Hey, William Moser, nice to have you here. So, Max Headstrong says, great radio, I love mine, but 1700, wow. Hey, no problem, Ray. And I'm gonna say it again. If any one of you has a YouTube channel that talks about radio, if you have a YouTube channel that talks about radio, and you want me to talk about it, give you a little boost on your own channel, please just send me the link in my email, official Shortwave Radio. Shortwave is spelled at the full name. A few people said I can't, it doesn't work. I tried official SWL radio. No, it's official Shortwave Radio. It's the full name, official, spelled out, Shortwave and radio. 3 words. Official Shortwave Radio at gmail.com. Send me the link to your channel. The only there's only 2 rules: no controversial videos of any kind, and the majority of the videos need to be radio related. Okay, I understand sometimes people mix in other stuff because there's their own YouTube channel and stuff, but I want to have it. The majority of the videos need to be radio related, and I'll be happy to talk about it. Give you a little boost in views if I can, and subscribers, for sure. So, yeah, Sheldon, oh, well, that's nice. Sheldon says, Yvonne, I feature your radio in English site in the new October CIDX Messenger. Cool. Yes, please do, PLF Radio. Share it. A website I found for AOKey database. I have the AOKey database that I use all the time. Please do share it. Hey, my friend from Ukraine, thank you very much for the nice shout out. Always nice to have everybody here. Would be great if Kim Elliott put his shortwave radiogram on 93, 95 as well. Yeah, it's not always easy to listen to. Rodolfo 65, thanks for the shout out. Joe picked up a few more subscribers and we'll be putting up more videos. Cool. You know, the idea behind it also, because both of your channels, Ravelda and Ray, that I've talked about, you don't have a lot of radio videos, but I'm hoping by doing this that actually it gives you the drive to post more. I think it's, you know, it's a fun way of sharing stuff with everybody. Can tell you that. So, you know, yes, Ray, I will enjoy that for sure. His voice is still the same, absolutely. I've heard, before purchasing tickets for the Breakfast in America tour, I watched a few YouTube videos to make sure that it was worth it, because I know that obviously it's not Supertramp, but it's Roger Hodgson. But when I heard and saw what on YouTube, what others posted, actually I thought, no, okay, I want to listen to it. It's pretty much Supertramp. His voice is very, very important in Supertramp, you know. So Kimberly says, yeah, I used my Kenwood TS130S until it started to have problems. It was worth getting a new one. BBC in Arabic on 9885, loud and clear in Northeast Maryland. 9885. Well, I've got some music right now, 9885, but strong. Big Dan Cameron says Radio Cairo comes in West Michigan. Cool. So yeah, 98.85 is pretty good. Pretty good. Yep, 1700, way too much for that radio, absolutely. David says, wow, that's true. Cairo 98.95 is pretty good. Still some traces of distortion on the audio, but it's kind of fine, which is surprising. I see the transmitter is still broken. So yeah, it's, you know, pretty surprising. Brett Wayne says, less than 1,000 for an R8B on QTH.com all the time. Absolutely. You know, 1,700, I would look into buying. If I would shell $1,700 for R8B, I would wait and shell the $3,000 required. You know, once you're at 1,700, you're not that far. I would shell out the $3,000 to get an ICOM R8600 instead. Brand new and much more modern. I would go there instead of buying that. Can tell you that. CNR1 on 9810, 9810. Do I hear something? No, that's not CNR1. That sounds like Eastern music. Isn't that? I think that is Iran. 9810 is yeah, voice the Islamic Republic of Iran in Spanish right now. It's not super strong, but it's here. 9810, the voice of the Islamic Republic of Iran in Spanish. So that's Iran on 9810 right now. Kind of nice. Kind of nice to hear. Propagation looks not too bad, honestly. Ivan says 9690 has a string signal with the bad audio. 9690. That is Voice of Nigeria. 9690 is Nigeria. Voice of Nigeria. They, you know what? They're irregular, but they've been more and more regular on that frequency every week. I should try, you know, 700. I don't know. It's HA is probably Hausa, which is a African language. But 9690 is Nigeria. Randall Clance, nice to have you on board from Northeast Illinois. Next part, I have a question all. What is the best SDR software? You know what? That's very personal, honestly, thus far. Because I've used SDR Sharp, I've used SDR Console version 3, I've used HD SDR here. I can tell you one thing, I favorite this HD SDR, it still is. But when you look at other people, I can tell you, everybody has a different favorite, honestly. It's just crazy. Yes, K6YYL, Kimberly has a YouTube channel, absolutely. Absolutely. Check it out, amateur radio stuff is... And by the way, if your radio channel is dedicated to amateur radio, please share it. I have no problem with that. It's radio. Hey, Mickey Dalmudge, nice to have you here from beautiful 12 Celsius sunny day in Sherwood Park. So you can actually listen sitting on the deck. So we're having similar temperatures, about 11 here, Mickey, in Montreal. But we have not had snow. And we're not in a hurry to have snow either. So, that's cool, Yvonne. Why not? Check it out. Oh yeah, I stumbled across that one, AOKey database website. The AOKey list is nice because there's a lot of, it's updated daily. There's always like new entries from people posting their own loggings in there. Matambale says, speaking of great YouTube channel for Shortwave, MDK2 is here. He deserves a shout out. Absolutely. Absolutely. MDK2 has great videos. For sure. Matt, nice to have you here. What I think about the AOK website, PLF Radio, I think it's an add-on to, you know, it's kind of, for a long time, honestly, I had two lists that I would always verify. As I told everybody, I'm a list guy. You know, a lot of you use these shortwave.am and shortwave.info website because it's kind of an automated way of finding whatever you want to listen to. And it's great because, I mean, for a lot of people, it makes it simpler. I don't know, my brain is programmed in a way that I don't want to have an interface that helps me search for things. I want to have a list and go through lists. It's my thing. I don't know. My brain is made like that. I don't know why. And so for a long time, what I would have simply is EIBIspace.de with their list by frequency and by time, and AOKey. I would download the and open the Excel spreadsheet of all the frequencies and stations, and I would just search. I would do a search. I would use the search function of the computer to search a frequency or whatever I need to search. On EIBIspace, I go on the list of frequencies. When we're actually listening to stuff and want to know what is on, I go to EIBIspace.de. I click the list by frequency, and I use Control F, or on the Mac is Command F, to search in the web page. And I just enter the frequency, and it automatically highlights the frequency and the stations are on. I just look at what time we are and what station is probably there. And AOK is, for me, a site that actually is a complement to EIBIspace, because AOK is driven off not only known information like the EIBIspace.de website, it's also driven by a lot of logs, official logs heard from around the world from different DXers. So sometimes you will have an answer to what a station is in the AOK list, but you will not have an entry in EIBIspace. It will eventually show up because the EIBIspace will eventually add it, but it is sometimes you do have that surprise of, oh, okay, they've logged it on the AOK list, so that's that station. So I actually like it's kind of both are great to use, honestly. So nice to have MDK2, Matt. Sheldon says, I think I have 9690 Voice of Nigeria. Yeah, probably. 9690 is Nigeria. It's leaving the air in a couple of minutes. It ends at 2100 UT. Matrix 54X, nice to have you on board, says Drake R8 is great radio for about 450, which is what I bought it for. Yeah, you know, I would shell maybe a couple, you know, $300-400 for one Drake. In good condition, 400-500 maybe, but not really much more than that, honestly. Helen Willie, nice to have you on board, Helen from Newfoundland. Says Voice of Nigeria 9690 kilohertz currently. Cool. Yeah, how's the language? Absolutely. They've been regular. It always says irregular, and for a long time they were off. We couldn't hear them on 9690, but they've been on regularly every day lately. I don't know if they're just got more money or something. I don't know, but it's been regular now. Philip Briggs, nice to have you on board from Brazil. The Observatorio Nacional time station from Rio de Janeiro on 10,000 kilohertz has been back and quite strong in the last few days. Strong signal now, but he is only 1,300 kilometers away in Portuguese. Let's just try it. What do I hear on 10,000? Whoops, I'm entering in the wrong keyboard. Anything here? There is. There's something weak for me on 10,000, but really nothing much. Let's try WWV in 15,000. Yeah, 15 megahertz is coming in. Not super strong. It was stronger earlier before the show started. Wow, incredible. 1 hour. It's already been 1 hour. Even Rick Roberts says 9690 Audible in Maryland. What else do we have? Max Edstrong says paid $1,200 for his Drake R8B in 2012 from Universal Radio. Well, there it was, you know, it was probably checked. And was it a new one in 2012, or it was a refurb, or out of curiosity? It says wouldn't pay that today. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. Matambali says quite fond of his R8. What else do we have? Yvonne says, last week with the beverage antenna in New Hampshire, I received World Music Radio, 100 watt from Denmark. Wow. That's a really good catch. Zachary Entol, nice to have you here. It's on 49 meters. Great catch, honestly. Hey, B, nice to have you on board. From Scotland, could I please have your opinion on the people selling Sony 7600 JR new, old stock for scandalous prices? Tam, you know, it always, when a receiver, especially certain types of receiver, you know, Sony receivers, Sony 7600 is known as one of the good portables out there. What happens? What happens is the fact that some very specific models are known to be really good, and these people think that you can take, you know, what was good and is now unavailable and suddenly sell it at a price that's just totally crazy, which it doesn't work like that. You know, the Sony ICF 7600 JR, I could have had one for about $150 at one point. Brand new, I would not pay more than that. So when somebody sells it at $200, $300, or they'll sell it at $150, but they'll sell it with $150 plus $100 shipping. It's like, no, I'm not going to pay that. It's not because an old receiver that is known to be good is out of stock that you can make money off of it. I mean, you're not looking at an old tube radio that's very rare from 1935. You're looking at a portable where a lot of portables today, including the Texan receivers, rival or equal that radio. So you can't sell that for, you know, higher than it was originally. And if it's used, you will not get the original price of it. You know, if I would pay a used Sony 7600 for $150, hey, I'll go get myself a Texan PL880. I'll pay the same amount of money, but I'll have a brand new radio that is as good and that is a nice portable receiver. And the K2, will you briefly discuss why HD SDR is your favorite? Personally, I have a hard time getting past its waterfall. You know, that's the thing. It's very personal. I like the layout and the way that it works. I hate the interface of SDR console. I totally hate it. SDR Sharp is horrible. That's my opinion. I like this better. It's really, I can't pinpoint. There are things, you know, SDR console has 100 times more settings and things that you can play with. Include, you know, SDR Sharp, as the good side of SDR Sharp is all the plugins that you can add. It has so many plugins for different things. Here I like it because I like the interface. I kind of like it like that. I also like the fact that I actually there's the frequency manager, and the frequency manager I actually download the EIBI space list of frequencies in there, and I can just pinpoint the station by time, whatever. Click on it, it tunes the radio automatically via HDSDR. I don't know. There's things like that that I like. I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised because I haven't gone through a full look at SDR console or anything. I'm sure the others probably do the same. I haven't just fallen into that, but I don't know. I kind of like it like that. It's a very I've over the time that I've been checking out what users' opinion of different software for SDR. What I find is that most of the comments I see seem to be based much more on personal preference than any really real world thing that they pinpoint that, oh yeah, that feature is so good that you can't go past that software. I don't know. Ray says it's 92 degrees in southern Illinois. Wow. So Max Headstrong says, did not care for the Drake R8B that much at first, but grows on me the more I use it. There's are these radios. Some radio, you know what? I give you an idea. When I got my Kenwood R5000, I moved on from a Radio Shack DX302 receiver to a Kenwood R5000, which is a major upgrade. But you know what? Something, I could not pinpoint it. Something was annoying me on the Kenwood at first. And I can't say that from day one I was happy with the Kenwood R5000. But I used the Kenwood R5000 after that all the time because it was much better radio. At some point it became my favorite radio. It was an amazing receiver. I kind of needed to use it to actually love it. It's funny. It's really funny sometimes. So it's just crazy. Hey, Kamal Zoro, nice to have you on board. Kamal from Morocco, nice to have you here. We really have people from around the world, eh? PLF Radio says on the AOQ website, I found a way it's presented is unique. It's in PDF. Look at the first. Yeah, and there's a PDF. There's an Excel file, an XLS file for Excel, which I use since I have Microsoft Excel installed. I kind of like it. Brett Wayne says, I would love to have an R8B, but maybe for 6 or 7. In very good condition, yeah, maybe. Carrier for 11635 for HM01. Let's check it out. The Cuban. Nothing much. There is a carrier. There's Madagascar Radio Feta from Madagascar, 11610.
中亚的亚述人就以形字的声音称它们为 TSRNI， 阿拉伯文承袭亚述文称中国为 SIN。后来欧洲人
SIN, sin
称中
in
国人为
Chinese.
情人，他们的地域。
So the Light of Life, Madagascar World Voice. Sorry, not Radio Feta.
CHINE 和 CHINA 都是由此而来。
So 11610 from Madagascar. That's far away. That's 13,000, 14,000 kilometers from here. Great signal on 11610. Yeah, PLF Radio says, yep, agrees about EIBI space and AOK. Yeah, they go hand in hand, both of them. They complete each other. Absolutely. Goose Carrier 11635 says Matambali. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Max Headstrong says a banged up Drake R8B just sold on eBay for 700. Wow. Okay. Cool, MDK2. No problem there. Stay safe. Take care, Daxfar74. Have a great night. Have a great night. What do we have here? Let me just check it out here. Going down the list. Yeah, it's some kind of a number station, Paul Smith, the Japanese slot machine. Radioactive says 9980 making it to the West Coast. Brett Wayne says an R8B at 700 would have to be 10 out of 10. Yeah, it has to be in perfect condition, absolutely. Especially for 700 bucks. I agree. Sean Harvey, KNLS Madagascar, 11610 is strong. Yeah, very strong. Absolutely. Brett Wayne's 11610 S9 in Salamanca, New York, KC2NXP. Ray says most vintage radios doesn't mean collectible. Exactly. There's a big difference. But that angle is often used to overprice equipment. Also, when they say I can test it or don't know how to use it, red flag. Oh, absolutely. When they say can't test it or don't know how to use it, it simply means it doesn't work. I've never had a receiver. Let's get a beer number 2. I've never had a receiver or something that works that is listed as I can't test it. I mean, come on, you test it. It doesn't take that much intelligence to be able to test out a shortwave radio. You know if it receives a signal or not. You don't have to listen in to any shortwave broadcast necessarily or know where they are, but tune around, put a little piece of wire, tune around. It's not difficult to know if a radio works or not, whether the radio is a high-end radio or not. I mean, the basic operations of a radio is rather easy, whatever model it is. So when they say, well, I can't test it or I don't know how to use it, no. You're just saying it doesn't work, and that's it. I've got one scanner here from Uniden that I purchased on eBay for like $25. And the guy had posted for 25 bucks, shipping included, or maybe $5 shipping, had posted, I don't know how to see if this thing works. Okay. So when I purchased it anyway, and because I thought, well, $30, I'll get it home, I'll see. And when I got it, it didn't work at all. To actually notice that when I opened the scanner, there was the battery compartment. One of the wires had disconnected from the battery compartment. So that's why it didn't work, because the wire was not connected to the battery compartment. I soldered it back there and put batteries, and it works fine. But I mean, there's no way I can test it. No, you knew it didn't work. I mean, come on, turn it on. Is there something on the display? You knew there was nothing on the display. So you should have posted, it doesn't work. Not, I don't know how to test it. Lou Rubens, what is the name of the receivers you said about 150? The Sony ICF 7600JR. But they are out of stock now because Sony isn't making any. For a couple of years they were on eBay all the time for 149 here. But there's a lot of Texan receivers that are very good in that price range. The Texan PL 880 is about that price range and is great if you want to have a portable radio, for sure. Ray says SDR Uno is really good software. It used to be Studio One. Use it for RSP1A. I use HD SDR and console for my AirSpy HF Plus. Do you have a preference? You seem to like SDR Uno, which does not work within a Fedry. It seems to be very specific here. But do you have a preference? Max S. Strong says R8B is magic on medium wave. MDK2 says I got Behavior 9 on WBC Q490 for the first time in months here in Colorado. Yeah, I did MDK2. No problem. Michael Walker, nice to have you here, says agrees on the appearance of SDR graphic user interface. You know, I think that makes it really a preference for someone more than a lot other things. The preference of just looking at the interface. I like HDSDR, you know. Radioactive hearing is hearing 11610 in Oregon. Pretty cool. PLF radio's got great signal on 11610. And the K2's got local in Colorado 11610. What else do we have? Do I use a linear power supply for my ephedry? Nope, I use a, you guys are gonna laugh. I actually use the original iPad 1 power supply on my ephedry because it is very quiet. The Apple power supply for their iPad doesn't make any noise in my SDR. It seems to be so filtered out that it actually works great. And I would not say that. I have a clone Chinese. It looks the same little block, white block power supply. I've got a Chinese one. That's a cheap one. And when you put the ephedry on it, forget it. You will never be able to listen to one signal. So it's powered by my original power supply from my first iPad, and it works great. And it seems to be very, very quiet. So kind of nice. B says the patina coming from your Grandrig classic radio speaker grill is awesome. This is a nice radio. This is thanks to, of course, Mr. Fastload in the chat room that gave me that last year as a Christmas gift, which is amazing. Take care, Sean Fahey. Always nice to have you here. David Fodor, nice to have you here. Good afternoon. Pretty cool. Scott Collier, good afternoon from Springfield, Missouri. Used a heavy fog last night as a pseudo ground plane in my long wire. It was surprisingly effective while it lasted. Huh. Interesting. You know, it does add a lot of humidity in the air, so it probably has some kind of effect on the ground, for sure. Cyberflyer 1, did you ever have a Sony ICF 2001D radio, and what do you think of it? So the Sony ICF 2001D, also known as the Sony ICF 2010, I've never owned one. I've always wanted to have one, and I know that it's one of the best Sony portables ever made, and a lot of people still have there. And it still is a great radio today. It's one of those amazing radios. One of the first that also had, I believe, synchronous detection. Hey, Gary in the UK, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Ivan says 2001D is great even to today's standards. If you come across a good one, get it. I'd like to have one. Honestly, a 2010, I would like to have one. I'd pay a couple of $100 for a 2010. Honestly. If it's in good working order, I would probably pay a couple of $100 and be happy to have one. David Fodor, Springfield, Illinois, KD9JEO. Nice to have you here. Richard Cook's got the buzzer, weekend 4625. What do we have here? Let's go down and slowly go down. We have Radio Havana, Cuba booming on 12,000, says Sheldon. Let's check it out. Oh, it's under weak here right now. We do have a great signal from Saudi Arabia on 11820. There's something on that's. We have Radio Nacional de Amazonas from Brazil on 11780. Brazil in Portuguese 11780.
Os venezuelanos estão em segundo lugar. Os imigrantes trabalham principalmente em restaurantes, hotéis, lanchonetes, na construção civil, em frigoríficos ou no abate de aves,
What is SET, David Fodor?
Os dados são do relatório do Observatório das Migrações Internacionais da Rádio Nacional em Brasília, Renata Martins.
Obrigado, Renata Martins. Vamos lá falar de esporte, né? A gente já voltando esporte aqui. A gente chegou com o Mendes, para falar de futebol. Não. Forte abraço.
Brazil in 11.780. Simulated emergency training. And how do we listen to that? Where is that going to be, and where do you listen to that simulated emergency training? I was not aware of that at all. Okay, the ARL newsfeed page for more info. Oh, we'll check it out. Could be interesting. I guess you guys had the, by the way, I was giving me that idea that you guys have probably received the presidential alert on your phones and your on TV and radio on Wednesday. I was watching Leo Laporte's Windows Weekly show, and his phones all went off at 2:18 with the presidential alert system. That a lot of people are still wondering what the hell, is that going to be used for? And some people were laughing, saying, I hope I'm not going to get personal messages from Trump on this. But I guess you guys probably had that this week on your phones. Bobby Burgess enjoyed the radio teletype contest last weekend. Yeah, that was fun. There was a lot of stations. It's a lot of fun. I like, of course, it depends on your on what you want to do, because I know that a lot of amateur radio operators have a hard time with contests, because they just take over the ham bands, and I mean, they take over the ham bands. It's just nuts. When there's a contest, if you want to chat, forget it. It's like it's crowded everywhere. But I like contests because it gives you the time to really have a lot of stations. You can DX so many stations in such a small amount of time. And the RTTY contest last week, man, I think in an hour I probably listened to like 25 different countries. It's just nuts, and I like that for that. But of course, we don't want to have a contest every weekend. That's for sure. Cyberflyer, can you hear Gander Radio HF airband transatlantic airband from your location? Absolutely. Gander is a regular on many different frequencies. And at night I listen a lot to 5. What's the frequency for Gander? 5. I always forget these frequencies. It's like 5616 or something like that. 5616 I think is Gander, right? Many of them that I hear. 88. What is the other one? 88. I'm trying to remember all the Gander HF, but I hear it all the time. Cyberflyer. That in New York are the two main airports and air traffic that I hear on the HF bands all the time. Ray, subscribe to the Canadian DX Club. Love the monthly newsletter. Cool. It is a great newsletter, honestly. Absolutely. Take care, PLF Radio. Nice to have you here as usual. Tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, we have another show. It's going to be a special pirate radio show. Brian Pinney, nice to have you here from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Love my Japan radio, my GRC NRD 525. These are great radios. These are some of the top receivers. I'm sure that they're still the top today. David Arden says, I have a Sony ICF 2001. Works great. Radioactive 11860 S9 over 40 in Oregon, which is, I believe, Radio Havana, Cuba. 860. Oh, here I've got the jamming. I've got jamming here. That was a frequency for Radio Marti, if I'm not mistaken. Let's check out the bands a little bit. Let's go to 15. So we've got WWV with a good signal. A lot there. 19-meter band. 22-meter band. Spain is very, very strong on 15.520. Not that much more on that frequency range right now. Spain on 15.520. Really strong. William Helms says another $1,000 outrageous radio. Even 400 is outrageous for 2001. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I did see a couple of comments on that. Listening to Sputnik 61 years ago. 61 years ago. Time flies. What frequency was Sputnik transmitting on? I kind of have a hunch of people mentioning in the 30 megahertz range, very low VHF range. What was the frequency Sputnik actually sent its little beeps on? Anybody know? That must have been. I would have loved to listen to that. That must have been an amazing moment. Being an amateur operator or radio listener listening to the first artificial satellite signal ever. Richard in the UK says CHU is weak on 7850. David Arden said traffic will be on VHF, UHF, some HF traffic. Check 80-meter band where you mostly likely will hear traffic. Huh, okay. Kind of interesting. How much would you folks here pay for a GRC NRD 545? That's kind of difficult. Ray, is Leo still doing TV? We used to have a channel called Tech TV. He hosted Call for Help in the screensavers. And the channel changed something else that sucked. Yeah, I remember that channel. He has his own network. If you go on twit.tv, TWIT.tv, he's got his own network. And you might actually see my face there from time to time also. But he has his own network on twit.tv, and he's got weekly shows. This Week in Tech on Sundays. I listened to 3 shows from him. This Week in Tech on Sundays, Windows Weekly on Wednesdays, and This Week in Google. The rest, you know, he's reactivated the new screensavers, which is kind of nice, but you know. His router crashed. Wow, Bobby. Now, I've been having weird. It's so weird. Yesterday almost all day I had some really weird connectivity issues with my internet, and I've reset my router, and I've started the modem again, and it was very, very bizarre. And today seems okay, but it was weird yesterday. Maybe it was my ISP that had the problem, honestly. So Danny Shortwave says National Alerts test was on all mobile phones. A couple of minutes later, and it was on the TV and the radio across the U.S. Only the ones that were on there were some networks that were not compatible that did not get that test. Yeah, 5616 and 8891. Thank you, Cyberflyer, and hey, Sidvic, or 8864. So let's try 8891 for just test right now. I'm hearing something. I just heard something. 8891. Shanwick, I've heard a few times also. Yes, Cyberflyer 1. I've heard Shanwick. It's usually weaker, but I heard it a few times. I heard Shanwick a couple of weeks back. I was listening in, and I listened, and I was like, wow, okay, that I'm listening to something else, and it was Shanwick. And I thought it was kind of nice. I thought it was kind of nice. MDK2 says can get San Francisco. David Fuller says a great resource for emergency is the Homeland Security called NIFOG. NIFOG. It is a free download in PDF format. Just Google it. Oh, okay. Check that out. San Francisco here at night, well, especially early in the morning before sunrise. Yeah, I've heard Chandwick a few times. Red Coco says it's true some Sony receivers are really overpriced. I was lucky 2 months ago to pay $80 euros plus shipping for a very good condition ICF 7600 JR. Maritime Valley is receiving WWVH time signal in Colorado. S9 Plus, wow. Pretty cool. 15 megahertz. Flip Briggs is hearing New York and Gander ATC and the South. Cool. Hey, Wood Beast on YouTube. Nice to have you on board. Nice to have you here, Wood Beast. Pretty cool. Philip Briggs, New York, ATC, and Gander Vomit. Kamang Z976, nice to have you here. Sputnik 1 launched in the Soviets in October 57. Carried 2 beacons, one on 20.005 and one on 40.01. Okay, that's the thing. I remember the 40. I didn't know they had one on 20. I mean, these, you know, back then it was a big deal to transmit at very high frequencies. That would have been interesting to see the electronics of that in 1957. What did it have in there? Did it have tubes? Did they send a Sputnik 1 with tubes in it or something? What was that? That would have been nice to see how it was made. I would guess today, after all this time, we probably have somewhere on the internet where they could show how it was constructed inside. Atom Valley says, quick Google, carried 2 beacons, 20.005 and 40.01. Cool. Johnny the Xer, nice to have you on board. Happy Friday, absolutely. Absolutely. Radioactive's got Navtex on 12579. And I've got nothing on that frequency. Let's check out, I'm going to check out 9445 for India. Yeah, India, 9445. But the best frequency for India right now is 7550. Look at that. India on 7550. And what's that power signal here? Oh, that's China Radio from Albania, 7285 China Radio.
For local folks, but for not.
Hey guys, I'm just going to go see what Paul the Cat, if he wants to come in, if he's there, because he's been out for a while. I'm just going to check the door in the back, leave you for a few seconds with China. And don't forget, guys, if you want to donate, help me out with what I do, Patreon and PayPal, great places to donate. Back in 2 seconds, I'm just going to go see if Paul the Cat wants to come in.
And there is a difference between domestic and foreign visitors. According to a conference on the development of tourism industry in Jiangxi province this May, here you go, Lightning, almost 10 5A level tourist attractions in the province will be free of ticket fee for international tourists arriving at Nanchang Changbei International Airport in 2018. And domestic non-local tourists arriving at that airport could also enjoy a, lower price ticket price, but it's not free of charge anymore.
I don't know about you, Hongling, but that sounds awesome to me.
Yeah.
Lower or free prices for the international foreigners. I think that's awesome.
But I'm curious, would you just go visit that place because of this news?
Well, when it's time to travel and you have some availability, of course you're going to look at where you can go and how economically feasible it is. And if there's an attraction where it's free, Absolutely. I think that if it has some of the features that I would like to see, then definitely would love to go. And for me, I think this stands out a lot to me because as a foreigner,
Hey everybody.
When you travel, you have a lot of different experiences.
So paypal.me/shortwave or the Yahoo email you see there. Patreon.com/readingcomputers. If you enjoy what I do, please contribute. Helps me stay online. Thanks for everybody that have donated. And I'm trying to reach out for people that have never donated. If you can spare a few bucks, why not? Any amount helps. I can tell you that. So, China Radio and Polycat is in. I don't know if he's going to come over and say hi to everybody. What else do we have? What else do we have? Kimberly says, according to Google, they say Soviets continue to use frequency around 20 megahertz and even some around 15 megahertz for many subsequent missions. Huh, interesting. That's interesting. Radioactive, yeah, that story about the chip that China puts in all the servers, I don't know. Amazon and Apple and Amazon said no, there's nothing there, but I don't know. I don't know what to believe, actually. So, you know. Ray says Sunny we get hit by a solar storm that predicted to be pretty big. Wipe bands out for a short time. We'll see. I don't expect a big solar storm, honestly, because we don't have any flares or anything. What's happening is there's a coronal hole, or almost a canyon. It's like a canyon on the sun. So there's some solar wind gusts, but I don't think we're going to have some really big major geomagnetic activity from that. It's not like having a a solar flare that creates really huge impact. I personally, I don't think that's going to be a something that's going to impact that much. There might be some minor geomagnetic activity, but I don't think that there's going to be that much of a solar activity or at the most minor geomagnetic storming, I would say. What else do we have? Hey, Vianney Arsenault, nice to have you here. Bonjour, bienvenue, Vianney. J'espère que tu as gagné tes élections. We had elections here in Quebec, which were kind of interesting. Let's call them interesting. Nice to have all of you here. Elton Byington says, I remember hearing Sputnik on the 20 megahertz signal using my aunt's 1948 vintage RCA Victor console radio. They went outside and watched it fly over my home in Washington, D.C. Wow. Wow. Hey, Nissan Greenwich from Dublin. Nice to have you on board. Time flies, eh? No. Okay, Vianney. So anyways, it's a very very interesting, and time flies so much. I mean, I listen to stuff, or when I'm going to be 50 years old in a couple of months, and what's interesting is when you start thinking about all the things that have come and gone in the radio stuff, and as you get older, and being a kid that grew up in the last portion of what was the Cold War, I was not really interested in anything, or didn't really know anything much about the Cold War until I was, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 years old, and I started to understand and realize the situation we were in with Russia and everything, or the USSR as we were calling it back then. Then I came into shortwave. Shortwave, I think what really opened up my mind about the Cold War was shortwave radio. Before shortwave radio, the Cold War was something far out. But the Cold War was bringing shortwave was bringing the Cold War in my home. Hey, here's Mr. Paul. Hey there, Mr. Paul. Let's remove your little necklace. How about it? I think we haven't removed it since yesterday. Here, you're free from the chains. And we do have a little pirate radio necklace. This little cat with a patch, a pirate patch. So he's got a pirate necklace. So Mr. Paul saying hi to everybody. Hey, look here. Look here. Yeah. Nice to see Mr. Paul. Hey, I got duct tape. I can see it from, I can see here, there's duct tape. And a lot of things, including Halloween stuff that I need. Oh yeah, my Halloween stuff from last year. I need to put my Halloween stuff up, including this little ghost that I don't know if it still works. Does it? Oh yeah, look at that. So Mr. Paul the cat saying hello to everybody. You want beer? So hope you guys are enjoying Mr. Paul appearance. So how about that? That, you know, a donation for Paul the cat, and you could just put in your comments, hey, here's a couple of bucks, and it's to buy food for Paul, or a little, you know, treats or something. So anyways, Mr. Paul is here to entertain. I can leave now because it seems that when Paul is here, you guys don't really care about the rest. So nice to have all of you here, as usual, of course. Okay, what else do we have? Paul needs an eye patch. Yes, he does. Johnny the Xer says, shout out to Paul. Johnny the Xer says, Sir Paul McCartney says meow. So I guess he would say meow back. What else do we have? Yeah, Radio Nacional Amazonas 11780 coming in well, says Matambale. Juan Amigo says, hello, Paul. It's nice to see you. So anyways, as we are continuing our shortwave show, after an hour and 43 minutes already, time flies when we do these shows. Like I said, tomorrow the show might be a little shorter, because I have to be at Palais des Congrès for 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. So that means probably the show tomorrow will be about 2 hours in length. We'll end it at around 6 p.m. local. So, you know, the time that I dress up and go to the YouTube event tomorrow, which will be tomorrow night. So that's going to be a shorter than usual show. But we will be here. We will be here. I was wondering, should I do a show or not? Yeah, we'll be here. Let's check out the 20-meter band. Is there any amateur radio stations on the 20-meter band right now? Let's check it out. What do we have? Nothing much happening in the 20-meter band. Digital modes are full of signals. It's interesting to see that there's not a lot of voice activity, honestly, but there's a lot of digital activity in the amateur bands. A lot of activity. What do you want to do, man? Want to go down? So anyways, you know, it's kind of interesting. David says, got 30 acres out in the country, big shortwave antenna. My shortwave reception is really good out here because of low noise. You know, I enjoy that because, I mean, I live smack in the middle of a city. And I can tell you one thing, noise is an amazing problem. That's for sure. Hey, Jay Watterson 69, nice to have you here. Shout out to Paul the Cat. Everybody loves you, man. Everybody loves a cat. Everybody loves a cat. Simon Templar from Portland, Oregon. Nice to have you here. Pretty cool to see everybody on board, by the way. And as we quickly reached a 100 viewer count, and we're even moved up. I saw the highest count was at 126 at some point. It's nice to have you here. Let's check out what's in the bands. We're gonna go down slowly here and check out what's in here. So what's in here? 13,660, 13,670, 13,670. Voice of America. Voice of America. And it's from Greenville, North Carolina, transmitter site to Africa, West Africa, 13,670. So we have Voice of America, 13,670. And we have, what do we have? Anything else here? $13,605 that I think is Radio Marti, right? $13,605. Radio Marti ends at 2000. What is that? It's interesting. It sounds like Radio Marti. It's in Spanish. Here it says ends at 2000, but we are at 2147. And that is Spanish language. So I don't know. Spanish language 13605. Unless it's Cuba that decided to use that frequency. So what does we have? So Simon Templar, nice to have you on board from Portland, Oregon. Pretty cool. Vianney has SSTV on 14230. Oh, let's try that out. 14230. Any SSTV here? Let's keep it there for a couple of minutes and even fire up. Oh yeah. And that's interesting. I'm not getting any sound off of the sound card for some reason. What the hell is happening? Message stereo. Oh, okay. Activate stereo mixer. Here we go. And here we go. We'll leave it there because there is some. I just heard an SSTV signal. Let's just check it out if I can. If there's any SSTV decode possible, that would be nice. Check it out. Ray says Alpha Delta DX Ultra and 1000 foot loop wire going around outside my field. Pretty good. Pretty good. Jerry's got finally got his R30 cloning software, programming the R30. Cool. That's cool. Richard Cook's got 13670 week, and he's hearing just 13605. What I got is a high-end fed sloper here, David Fodor. It's a 22 meter long, about 75 feet long, 80 feet long sloper, east-west, with a 9-1 balun. Hey Rob Webster, nice to have you on board. Yes, there is DRM 11650. which should be 11650. I saw the signal on the waterfall. So 11650 is DRM coming out of Romania, I believe. Is it? Yeah, Radio Romania Digital in Spanish. 21 to 22 UT. Radio Romania. So it's kind of interesting to check it out. Let's continue our little tuning around here, see what we can hear from the bands. Let's check it out. What do we have in the bands? It's nice to have everybody on board, by the way. Hey, C. Johnson, nice to have you here. Donald Osmer says, sorry, Mr. Paul does not qualify for president, not a natural born U.S. citizen. So we'll have Mr. Paul Decat as a Canadian Prime Minister. This Radu. Oh, there's something here. It's weak, but maybe we can have some kind of. It's way too weak. It's really noisy. I don't think we'll recognize anything in there. It's sad because if I had less noise, it would have been the code, possible decode. But here it's just noise. 14230. Oh well. Radu, Ian, wow, what kind of SDR receiver is there? This is an AFEDRI, AFEDRI receiver. And it's a long wave, medium wave, short wave receiver. And it's working on my home network. And of course you see it here on with the HD SDR software. We could see some kind of pattern, but nothing more. Unfortunately. Not strong enough for a decode. How old is Paul the Cat? Paul the Cat is, I don't know. I don't know because Paul the Cat was given to me by my neighbor that moved 2 years ago. And she found him, he was lost. So we have no idea how old Paul the Cat is. But after looking at a lot of stuff, and you know, I have to maybe go to the vet. The vet might give me an idea, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised Paul the Cat is already maybe 7 or 8 years old. I wouldn't be surprised. But I've owned Paul the Cat for 3 years now. Oh, this one might be interesting if that idiot that's keying on the frequency would stop. There's that idiot. Ain't missing that much to have a better decode, honestly. Come on, get a little stronger, please. We're seeing something. You know, this is one of, it's like those pictures. You know the pictures that look like sand, colored sand? And you look like from far away and get out of focus, and you kind of see an image in it? It reminds me of that SSTV version. Well, is that? It has Halloween colors. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Come on. I'm gonna hear something more. So, slow scan TV stuff. We'll try to decode another one. See if we can get a better decode the next time. RWM coming in. Super strong on 9996, says Richard. David Branscombe. Is there actually anything on shortwave nowadays? Tons of things. Amateur radio stuff. There's still quite a lot of stations to listen to. I mean, you know, in an evening the other day, that's what I was mentioning the other day, on a portable radio outside in my backyard. And one evening I started listening to Voice of Turkey, WRMI, Radio Slovakia. Well, let's check this one. This one is strong enough that it might actually give us a nice picture. Let's cross our fingers. Voice of Vietnam, Radio Slovakia, Radio Prague, Relays, Radio Vanuatu, Radio Romania. So there's still stuff to listen to. This afternoon I was listening to Voice of America on 15580. I heard BBC on 15400. I mean, there are some stuff to listen to, absolutely. Absolutely. David Fodor says, my fiance has a cat that looks like Mr. Paul. His name is Bugs. So, oh, it ended in the middle. KP4AE. We have his call, KP4AE. Unfortunately, it stopped in middle. Sad. It was not a bad decode, this one. It's actually not bad. So, nice to have everybody here, by the way. You are watching the Shortwave Radio Show, by the way. This is coming to you. We're at almost 2 hours of being live. Pretty amazing. And this is, of course, the Shortwave Radio Show. We're here every Fridays, 2000 hours Universal Time. We talk about radio, shortwave radio, amateur radio, anything about radio. Long wave, medium wave, shortwave. And, of course, tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC, we'll be here again with another shortwave show. Anybody can join in the fun. It's always cool to be here and have fun and talk about radio. There's a great chat room with a lot of people and beer. Cheers. Richard Cook says there's WINB week on 9265. By the way, it actually broadcasts the International Radio Report, in which I participate every 2 weeks. That's a local show here on CKUT 90.3 FM. They rebroadcast every Sunday mornings at 10:30. What was it? 10:30. Let me just check that out. I think it's 10:30 UTC. And on 9265, we haven't heard of anybody yet that listens in on that broadcast. So hope that some people are listening in. And what else do we have? NDK2 says 103 watching, 55 likes. Let's boost that a bit. Why not? Come on. Like me. Man. Let's check out if Turkey is coming in. Turkey should be signing in. 9830, still not on. Turkey is often a little late there. We have Radio Romania interval signal on 9760. Radio Romania 9760.
This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our 1-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Japan. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro Channel 1. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter and other social media platforms. We wish you good reception conditions.
Richard Cook says 9760 is strong.
Hello, I'm your host Elena, and I'm bringing you the news. First, the headlines. Nearly 19 million Romanian voters are invited to polls on Saturday and Sunday for a referendum on redefining the concept of family in the Constitution. Former Tourism Minister Elena Odrea and
Ray says 9760, Romania plus 30 at his location, real strong, pretty cool.
Detained pending the extradition decision that Costa Rica Interpol office announced. Nearly 19 million Romanian voters are invited on Saturday and Sunday to vote on a proposed redefinition of the concept of family in the Constitution. The initiative aims to define family as an institution based on a woman rather than the marriage of spouses as it is at present. The Parliament has passed a bill in this respect based on a citizen initiative for which 3 million signatures have been raised. The referendum.
Well, they'll have a referendum on what is a couple, I guess, for children and family. Interesting. So, anyways, Bobby says no slow scan TV, but a ham on 14267. We're gonna go down. We're gonna move from. Let's move from 12,500. And we're going to go down slowly and see what we can hear. I mean, outside here, the sun is going to set in, you know, if it's not already setting. What's the sunset time here in Montreal for today? Let me check that out. It should be pretty much now. So the sun is going to set, or is already set, I guess. And so it sets at 6:28. So in 25 minutes from now, where the sun is going to set. So 25 minutes from now, the sun is setting. I like this period of time for one thing, because in the summertime when we do the live shows, you know, I mean, the sun sets at 9 in the evening, so there's a lot of that period where there's not that much to listen to, and it's sad. But this is cool because this is the period of time where we're into that transition zone. We're in that gray zone where propagation is kind of interesting to different parts of the world. So there's a lot more to listen to on the shortwave bands. And for those that missed the beginning of the show, it was kind of cool. At the beginning of the show, we heard Olympia Radio, some kind of feed transmitting a station feed on 13134 upper sideband from Greece. So it's kind of interesting. We started the show with a bang, with something unusual that apparently I've already logged in the past. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. So Vancouver Island, the exit, Romania is noisier for me than it is for you, but it's still solid copy. Cool. So it's making it to the West Coast. That's not bad. Radioactive has sent 2 images of SSTV that he's received. Let's check that out. If we can show these pictures. Yep, I got an email from somebody called KF7ELY. And here they are. Here they are. So this is the code of Carol of his from N4 8K. So this is the code he's got. Oops. Pretty nice. Pretty nice, the codes. Thanks for sharing that, Carol. Mr. Radioactive. Really nice to see that. Thanks for sharing the pictures. Really cool. Nice to see, you know, it's a nice community. Sharing and showing what we receive. Ray says, when you turn 50, I will go fast. I turned 50 and now that is getting ready to turn 52. I don't even know where it has gone. You know what? What I always say is I don't remember what happened. I don't know what happened in the 20s when I was in, you know, when I was 20 to that 10-year period from 20 to 30. I don't know what the hell happened there. I know one thing. There's nothing important because I can say from 20 to 30. I can't really say there's a single thing that I will pinpoint and say to you, oh yeah, that was a great period in my life. So that shows you that between 20 and 30, my life was probably boring. Where my life turned interesting at 30. Why? Because at 30, I had a really good job and I was about to make the biggest jump in my life. Going from a job that pays well into nothingness to become a tech guy and fix computers with my own little company. And that is something I remember because, I mean, when you jump off a cliff, I mean, you know, going from a very good paying job to starting your business is jumping off a cliff. You jump off the cliff and you're just hoping one thing, that you won't hit the ground hard and be like, okay, got to start from zero again. And it was harder than I thought because when I started my own business, I thought it would go faster than that, and honestly, it took a little longer. That's where you need to be careful with the money because you can easily run out of money if you're not careful. And then I had my tech business going. When that happened, I okay, we're at, so I'm at 30, 31, 32 years old. That means we're at year 2001. Never would have thought that I would be doing a live show like this on YouTube, talking about radio at that point. YouTube was not even existent. YouTube appeared in what, 2006, 7, something like that. I thought, well, okay, tech duties, and I was a successful guy. I mean, I had so many clients. But doing tech jobs is, it takes a lot of energy. And as years went by, I was happy. I was happy to be on my own, working on my own, have my own little company and everything. But you get to a point where, wow, am I going to do this until I'm 70 years old or something? You know, because that's all you see. And one thing that I understood is when I jumped off the cliff from working for a company into my own world as I am the company, I knew one thing. I would never want to go back working for a company. Still today, at 50, I don't want to go back working for a company. It's something that is very unique in doing your own thing. And then I started a YouTube channel like in 2008, 2009. But it was just for fun. I never thought YouTube could one day be my salary. And in 2010, 11, I got an email saying, hey, we've approved you for monetization. And I was wondering, what's that? And I started looking into monetization and saying, oh, I could make money off of videos with YouTube. But you know, there was a lot of things happening at the time where you could make money on the internet. And most of them were like, you know, yeah, you're going to make, you know, $20 a week and that's it. You know, you can't live off of that. And in 2011, I started monetizing videos. And of course, it was a very slow start. It was that start where you go from, you make pennies every day. I remember the first day that I made like 10 cents. It was like, wow, I made 10 cents today. It starts like that. Then you move on and get more views. And I worked. I was doing my tech jobs. When I had time off of my tech jobs, I would do videos and wait and see that it's growing. That thing is growing. And then you get to the point where you get that first, it's like the second step. The second step is on YouTube, AdSense gives you your pay after you reach $100. They pay you. Below 100, the money keeps adding up until it reaches 100. So that's the first kick that you get, because I don't know. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was something like in 2012. In 2012, I think. In 2012, I reached my first $100. And it got deposited in my bank account. And I was like, wow, I got $100. And you get a kick out of it. It's like, wow, I just got the first $100 from YouTube. But it's nothing. I mean, you have to work. I mean, you can't live off of $100 every 4 months. But you know what? I was lucky because at that period, my channels were growing fast. I went from $100 every 3 months to very quickly $100 a month and more than $100 a month after that. I can't say the numbers, but I can tell you that I'm living off of YouTube right now. And my tech jobs, I was getting bored of doing tech jobs, so my tech jobs were slowly declining as my YouTube stuff was slowly climbing. And I gambled. I did a big gamble, actually. Let's try to make a living off of YouTube. Now, I'm not rich, but I am. Okay, I am. I am making a living off of YouTube. I am paying the bills. I have an okay life. I can't complain. But you know what? It's scary, because when you do things like that, it's like, wow, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you? When my tech job started going lower, I don't know how many times I thought, am I taking the right decision? Am I the right thing? Sorry, I'm digressing here a little bit off of the shortwave things, but it's part of who I am and what I'm doing. Anyways, I'm here, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of really, really cool, honestly. Okay, let's check out here what's happening. Let's check it out here. Mika Dolmench says he's heard WINB 9265 with the International Radio Report Relay. I precipitated in during my visit to Montreal in August. EQSL from Munich Radio was received. Getting too dark for early reception of WINB now. Wow, cool. At least that's nice. HM01 10715. Let's check it out here. 10715. Oh yeah, it's there. Look at that. Cuban numbers. That's the digital hash off of it, but there's the Cuban numbers 10715. MDK2 had in. MDK Matt says that you had a copy of All India Radio on 11560 at 1615. Never copied ever before. Figured it out after about 15-20 minutes. So yeah, that is nice, and that's the interesting part of this period of time in propagation. Honestly, let's check if Turkey is there. Yeah, Voice of Turkey is on 9830 with some music. Voice of Turkey 9830, pretty strong English. Sakura DX, nice to have you here. The radio receiver behind you is Grundig. It is my first time I see that rig. So huge and looks nice. So nice to have you on board from Japan, Sakura. So this is a Grundig satellite transistor 6001. It is also known as the Grundig Satellite 210. It is a radio that was built the same year I was born, 1969. And it is the most amazing piece of equipment I've seen in all of my life. It doesn't drift. You know, I'm still amazed. A 1969 radio, we don't see that often. A 1969 radio that when you turn it on and you leave it on frequency, you turn it on after 3 days and it's still smack on the frequency you're listening to. I would tune in Turkey, on 9830 on here, and I would still be on Turkey 2 days from now, tuning in on this thing. It's pretty crazy. Voice of Turkey, 9830, English.
Your letters and emails are a source of guidance and feedback on our programs. We also expect your criticism, whether positive or negative, and information on your city.
They want reception reports and criticism.
Your local culture, environment, weather, or whatever you like to share with us. In a way, we share this useful information with our dear listeners throughout the world. Before I read your letters and emails, let me remind you of our contact addresses. Our post address is Englishland, TRT 130, Postbox 333, Yenişehir, Ankara 0644330. Let me repeat our postal address. Englishland, TRT.
Yes, there's a show tomorrow, indicate too. 2000 hours Universal Time tomorrow. There's a show. Absolutely.
Our email address is englishland@trt.net.tr. Let's begin. The first letter, email, is from
It's the
Bangladesh.
listener's letterbox.
International radio listeners from Bangladesh, Mr. Abdul Razak. Dear sir, good morning from Bangladesh. I am and my club all staff, your broadcast regular listeners. Your website very nice, online program good. My club name target new member collection, students free supply books, and food, and medicine supply smoke of free plant, social work, etc. Dear sir, my club stands for a pet and work with daily.
So it's the listener letters. You know, when I started listening to Shortwave, one of the things I really found cool on almost every station I was listening to was to hear letters from other listeners. Because, you know, like we always say, shortwave radio listening is a very solitary thing. We're our own in our little radio, little room. We are the, you know, aliens of the world. And what was nice is I could hear that around the world, other people were like me, listening in. You know, there was not this YouTube and internet thing that we're all gathered here now and listening in together and talking about radio together. It was it was just like, oh, there's other people listening in. They're receiving letters from these people, you know. And then hearing your own name mentioned it's always kind of cool. Alan Wheely says Romania strong on 7315. Let's try it out here. 7315. Oh yeah, it's even better. 7315, Romania.
Which he said had improved. And he praised Kim Jong-un for suspending ballistic and nuclear tests. The US leader, however, did call for strict compliance with international sanctions against North Korea until full denuclearization. Trump used this year's speech to call for international...
So 7315, Romania is good also. I-Fi 88 Zenith, nice to have you here from Baltimore, working a Radio Shack DX394 on a 250-foot wire. Wow. That's nice. F4 IDL, nice to have you on board. And pretty cool to have everybody here. So yes, there's a show tomorrow, 2000 hours UT. Yeah, Kenny. Don de Dieu, look at that. You want? I've got. I had actually purchased a 6-pack. So this is my third, and I don't think I'm gonna have another one because they're 9%. So I get kind of drunk after 3. You're pretty tipsy. I can tell you that. After 3, I know some of you guys like me to be more tipsy, but have you guys noticed I rant less? I'm having more fun. You know, you gotta just have fun. I can tell you that. What else do we have? Let me just go down here. What else do we have? Yeah, the show is going to be a little shorter tomorrow. It's going to be max 2 hours because of I have a YouTube event tomorrow night to attend. Max Headstrong says, always struggled with corporate culture. Retired at age 50 from high stress accounting job. Now I have part-time accounting job for small business 2 miles from my house. So, you know, it's okay. It's Denny Shortwave, going back and forth also, clearing out my kitchen, getting ready to install the tin ceiling tiles. I have tons of things to do here. Richard Tribble, hey, nice to have you on board. With your Fridgy, did you try console for the software? Yeah, SDR console. I have it on a Windows 10 machine. SDR console, but I prefer HD SDR. I also prefer one thing. I'm unable to have sound and the SDR console that sounds good. The audio in HD SDR is much smoother and much better. And I've played with the settings, with the equalizer, but I still can't understand why the sound in HD SDR is better than in SDR console. So, you know. Sakura DX says, now here, Radio Romania International English, broadcasting on 9790 comes very strong. Maybe it's relayed at somewhere like China, not direct signal. If you're hearing it right now, are they on 9790? I'm going to tell you where they are from. 9790. And Radio Romania, yeah, it is for the Far East. And from what I see here, T. What's T? Let me just check 9760. 9760. It says T. Romania G. Well, I don't know. What's that transmitter site? What does T mean? Let me try 1715. G. Well, I don't know. I don't know where it's transmitted from. I don't know what T is. Is it one of the Romanian transmitter sites? Maybe. Maybe it's maybe it's direct. I don't know. Paul Richardson, nice to have you here. I'm born in 1969 too. Your neighbor from New Brunswick, VE9VW. Nice to have you here, Paul. 1969 is such a great year. Well, you know what, Max Armstrong? He says accounting is a great career if you're an introvert and like to work alone. One of my best friends is a introvert, totally. I mean, when I go to social events with him, I am the party animal because I'm the extroverted guy. And every time we go somewhere, he's always like, well, you know, I'm always not very comfortable, but I'm comfortable going with you because you're the guy that talks to everybody, and I'm the guy in the corner. And he is an accountant. So I guess probably that is the case. It's the job for that type of people. Absolutely. He's certainly not the type of people that's going to be on a YouTube channel doing a live show for 4 hours. Oh, man. Well, Donald Hosmer says graduated high school in 1969. Damn, I'm old. I think it was at the karaoke bar there's this waitress, that came up to me and said, you were talking about something that happened in a job you had in 1998. And she looks at me and she says, that's the year I was born. I was like, yeah, okay, go to hell. Oh, man. Radio Guinea, 9650 with a fair signal. Check it out. There's definitely a signal, but there's definitely not much to talk about. Matambali 9830, just copyable, S7 above the S5 noise floor. Yeah, 1969. Next year is going to be 50 years. I remember when I started getting interested in science, my parents had a Paris Match magazine, and they had bought the Paris Match magazine in 1969, and it had full color pictures of the moon and the American moon landing, which amazed me when I was 10 or 11 years old. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to that magazine over time. I-Fi 88 says also have Alec Crafter's S38, just recapped and retubed. Love working on the old S38 Alec Crafters. Cool. Simon Templar 9790, way down in noise. Pretty much the same here, Ray. I did a lot of biking over years, but I was not a good runner. Paul Richardson, first communications are sent through the ARPANET. Yeah, that's the baby. ARPANET is the baby behind what the internet is today, pretty much. It was what started the whole thing. Who'd have thought, you know? I remember being in the 80s when my Commodore 64 and going on bulletin board system, BBSs. And I never would have thought that we would have, in my time, powerful enough computers to do live shows, streaming of videos. I mean, come on, we can... You know what's interesting is that we are in an age where there's something else than just watching the regular TV stuff. There's things happening on the web, like me doing this show and having people watching from all around the world. We can have a portable TV studio and broadcast to the world thanks to what the internet is offering. It's just crazy. Crazy when you think about it. Really amazing. Really amazing. Hey Sakura DX, no problem. Pretty cool to have you on board from Japan. Really, really a lot of fun to have everybody here from everywhere. It's just so amazing to have all of you here. Just so amazing. Just so amazing. Vienna, oh yeah. Was the cat in a box? C. Johnson. Actually, you find it funny, C. Johnson, but in the living room I have a box from Amazon. I received an Amazon tablet, well, that tablet a couple of weeks back. Came in a pretty big box for such a small tablet, 10-inch tablet. And I took everything out and I just dropped the box in the living room. And 2 minutes later, I look, and Paul the cat is in the box looking at me. I was like, okay, a cat in a box. You just can't resist. But the funniest thing is lately, since the past 2 or 3 weeks I've had this, maybe a month, he's been sleeping in the box a couple of times every week. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to leave the box there. He likes sleeping in it. It's just funny. It's just funny. MBK2, bacon burgers tonight. I had hamburgers on the barbecue for lunch today. I have some tortellini. It's veal tortellinis, and I will be making my own little rosé sauce and be eating that for tonight after the show. Sakura DX, listening to your interesting talk and chat with many people spread over the world. My first time to join. Very fantastic experience. Thank you. Well, you're totally welcome, Sakura DX. You know what? My nephew, Gabriel, would be happy. He's gone when he was in university. He learned Japanese, and one of his big dreams is to go to Japan for many weeks and enjoy the Japanese culture. And I hear that it's one of the most interesting experiences in the world is to go to Japan and experience the Japanese culture and what the Japanese people are all about. And it's really a lot of fun to have you on board, Sakura DX. Honestly, really a lot of fun. You're welcome here, absolutely, and thank you very much for your great comments. It's really a lot of fun here, and there's like a lot of stuff. There's a lot of great people here. I mean, you know what? The chat room is filled with amazing people. I can tell you that. Amazing. Just amazing. It's what keeps me up. Honestly, if I don't think I would be doing these shows if there would be like, you know, just a few people in the chat and nothing much interesting happening. But over the years, I have this chat room, and you got these, you know, all of these people that from all over the world, regular people, new people coming all the time. And you know what? You guys are not just, you know, names or over the years, you guys are friends. It's just amazing. I look at the chat room, and it's really like being in a room filled with people. It's just that you guys are all far away. No, I would like to have that, you know, teleportation thing, and just like, you know, this, everybody's here, and let's have a beer and talk, and be, you know, face to face. If I would have one dream, I would say maybe, and there's many dreams, many things I want to live through. But if I had the money and I want one dream, is to meet all of you in person, shake your hand and say, hey, nice to meet you. After all of these years and all of this time in the chat room and over the internet. But at the same time, it's kind of cool because all of you here, we have this thing called the internet that brings us together. And one of the things that we love, which is radio. And it's just so cool. Rob Webster, the Tipsy Shortwave Show. Oh, man. C. Johnson, thinking about antennas. I have mine facing east-west. I've heard that north-south is a better orientation. You know what? On shortwave, honestly, orientation, if it's a long wire, things like that, doesn't affect that much. It does, yes, but that much, I'm not sure. You know, mine is east-west right now. When I had 100 feet of wire, it was north-south. Actually, I'm having better reception right now with my sloper east-west, honestly. It's just like, you know, just crazy. Just crazy. Oh, man. Hey, Jill, are there any electronic shops left in Canada that sell shortwave radios? I see ads for them in the old Passport to World Band radio books. Just wonder if there were still any around. Yeah, Ray, there's a Radio World in Toronto. Radio World in Toronto still sells shortwave radios. That's where I bought my trusty old ICOM here many years ago. It's one of the only ones left. There's not a lot left, honestly, in Canada that sell radio. But in Canada, there's still Radio World. It's probably the major seller of radio and shortwave radio and amateur radio gear in Canada. Man, Passport to World Band Radio. That was such a great time to have these books. And wow. Hey, McGlone, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. So Ray says in the U.S. it's mostly AM radio, Hotlet, and Universal Radio now. Yeah, they're dying slowly. You know, I think there's always going to be some, but they're going to be few because, you know, like here in Canada, now it's Radio World. It's sad, but that's how it is, you know. Hey guys, just a last little notice. Don't forget, if you want to do a little donation here, if you enjoy what I do, paypal.me for donations for the show. It makes me continue. And if you like what I do, or you can send it to Yahoo email that I am posting. If you want to help out, give a little something, say, hey, what you do is amazing. I want to support you. Patreon.com, which is a nice place, even though last month they froze the money for a while. Patreon.com, where you can set up a little something every month. Patreon.com/radioandcomputers. Give me a little something if you enjoy what I do. It helps out and it helps me continue with what I do. Thanks for donations, guys. Okay, let's go down here. What do we have? You know what, Mickey Dolmage? I never did a country count of the viewers of the show. Maybe I should take note of that as time goes on, Mickey, because I have never. There's a lot of countries that have logged in here, a lot over the years, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed at some countries that show up that I, you know, like we have Syrian Willow that he's here from Syria. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, our knowledge of some of the countries around the world is not perfect, far from that. And sometimes you look at a country that's, you know, that's ravaged by war or that something's happening. Then you get somebody that shows up from that country and you're like, okay, well, it's not everywhere that's all of that is happening. And I gotta say, over time I've had so many countries. I mean, we had Pakistan a few times. Wow, of course, I've got a few from India. I mean, it's just crazy. I've got a few from Morocco, Algeria, South Africa. I've had most European countries, probably. Russia. We've had Japan. We had, of course, we have our regulars from Australia. It's just nuts when you think about it. The people from everywhere. I should take note of all the countries, for sure. For sure. Can tell you that. Yes, cats do love boxes, Kimberly, for sure. Absolutely. What do we have? Indicate to it's a feline thing. They'll put refrigerator boxes in Lion's Den and they get in. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen one where they dropped a big box in a African national wildlife area, and there's this lion that comes and just, like, you know, a lion or a tiger. I think it's a tiger. And he comes in and he just gets in the box. It's like, okay, that's really a cat thing. I got to do that, MDK, too. You know what? I've done all the things. I'm waiting for my passport to arrive, and I need to do quite a few things. I want to travel a little more. Can tell you that. Rob Webster, love YouTube and watch a load of stuff here. Spend less time watching TV. I can tell you, you know, it's just crazy. I mean, this does change everything. I mean, YouTube and everything live and all that you can watch. I don't watch TV anymore. I got a 50-inch in my living room, and the only thing that I do on it is watch Netflix, YouTube, and some tech geek stuff. If it was just for that, I would not even have, if cable TV. It's just crazy. K6YL says, thank you, Jill. I feel the same about you and everyone here. Yeah, it's crazy. We're a bunch of friends. Honestly, we're really a bunch of friends. Vianney Arsenault, I think North-South is best, yeah. But the nature of propagation and how shortwave works, I'm not sure it necessarily does that big of a difference. Maybe more in the transmitting than receiving, at least. Radio New Zealand on 13840. Everybody's talking about that. Am I getting anything? I'm getting that. No, I'm not getting it. I'm getting WWCR on 13845 here. That's really, really strong.
And that became
13845. What do we have? Access try. I often wonder how long. Oops, lost that. Standalone radio stores will last, especially universal radio. What keeps them alive more than just a shortwave hobby is the amateur radio hobby. What would kill these stations would be possibly these stores would be if Kenwood or ICOM would decide tomorrow morning that they want to sell direct to whoever wants to buy ham gear. And when that would happen, that means that now we're getting in trouble because these stores might disappear. I look at Radio World in Toronto. One of the things that they do is they sell a lot of stuff that's outside of just radio. They sell GPS. They sell a lot of things that appeal to other people, not just radio gear. But I got to say, it's just crazy. Can tell you that. We used to have two stores in Montreal that would sell amateur radio and shortwave gear. Radio Lorenz, long time ago. That's where I bought. Well, that's where my Kenwood R5000 came from. And there was another one. I'm trying to remember its name, but I can't. That would sell amateur radio gear also. Both disappeared. And Montreal is a pretty big city. Crazy. MDK2 says, my local ham radio outlet does a brisk business. People like brick and mortar. That's why Amazon is opening a few stores. Well, let's face it. If you have the possibility to touch and look at a radio, we all want to do that. It's nice to see a radio on your computer screen. It's not the same as having it there in front of you, touching it maybe, or holding it in your hand. I mean, there's a feel, there's a look. Often pictures of a radio on the internet are modified. They're modified to look cool and nice. It's not a representation of what the radio really is. It's like a photoshopped. We Photoshop bodies of people that are on the pictures. I'm sorry, but they Photoshop radios also. They made the radio look sexier than it is in reality. I mean, look at the picture of the ICOM here. I have it in front of me. It's cute, it's sexy, but that picture that ICOM posts makes this look 100 times more sexy than it actually is. There's a Photoshop in a way of doing the picture. There's a lighting effect. And when you get there, the picture from ICOM and you look at the real thing and you're like, okay, it's sexy, but it looks sexier on the picture on the internet, It's just kind of weird. Sakura DX says, I do recommend all of you visit Shimane or Tottori Prefecture, very far from Tokyo, and even Osaka, Kyoto, but food, mainly fish, tastes very nice and cheap. So, you know what? If one day I can go to Japan, I would love to visit Japan. That must be an amazing country to visit. Even the United States, I visited. Mostly what I visited was on the East Coast. I'd like to go, you know, West Coast, California. Meet Kimberly in person in California. 94:24 a.m. What is that? Well, what I've got is 94:20 Vienna. 9420 Greece with very, very strong music. Yes, music is Greece. 9420. Hey, Kev O from Germany. Nice to have you here. Rob Webster says, great show. Love watching it, and people on here are great. It is so off topic from shortwave radio, and have a great time. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you. I love doing this. It's a fun thing, I can tell you that. I remember when Eurosol was mail and used equipment list. I remember in the 80s getting a catalog from Universal Radio in my mailbox here in Canada and drooling over everything that I would see in there. It was just amazing. It was like a Radio Shack catalog. So many things you drool over just looking at the catalog. Richard Cook's got Turkey 9830. Richard Tribble, I asked about is there a console because it now has incorporated database which tracks the frequencies. Okay, I'll give it another try. David says, Gilles, you know that if you ever come to Barcelona, you're more than welcome. I absolutely know it. You know what? I got so many people that told me, look, you know what? You got a place to stay if you come over to my place in my area. You know, it's just crazy. I would honestly love to meet each and every one of you. Honestly, it would be very, very, very nice in person. You know, it's a different feel. Jerry, can you program the R30 for me? My fingers are bleeding already. But once it's done, Jerry, you'll be happy. There's no list you can download from, like, you know, I don't know, what's the website? The frequency database website. Maybe there's a lot of stuff there that you can download and enter automatically. Vianney, does that still exist in Laval? I haven't heard that in a long time. Lafayette, Laval. Let me just check that out. Radio. Just check that out here. Yeah. What the hell do we have here? Yep, I don't think that exists anymore. Radio World in Toronto is pretty much the only thing that exists. There's I don't see anything. I don't find anything on the internet about that. All the radio stores are closing down, man. Pretty sad. Oh yeah, it's true that Sheldon has Radio HF store, but it's an online, pretty much an online business, you know. As Mike says, Sheldon has Radio HF. Mostly centered about amateur radio gear and stuff. It's true. Forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, Mike. But it's mostly an online thing, pretty much. Ray says the picture of the ICOM ICR 9500 was amazing. It should be for $15,000. I hope it is. I hope it is. I'm gonna check it out, Richard, version 3.03. I think I'm not at 3.03 on mine. I'll check it out and let you know. It's you know, it's a world where everything is closing down. It's sad because we're, you know, and this is a hobby where it's very complicated. I mean, you know, selling amateur radio gear and stuff, it's getting complicated. There's an interesting article in this month's man, got the name. This month's radio magazine. Just gonna check it out here. So, let me just check it out here. So, yeah, storage, download. So, in the September Spectrum Monitor, the October Spectrum Monitor, sorry, which is this one here. I'll show you guys. Spectrum Monitor. This is a great magazine to have, by the way. Anybody that wants one. It's you can. I would say, if you don't want to have the full year this year, buy individual magazines right now. And in January, you can actually subscribe for the full year because their subscription starts in January every time. There's a talk about amateur radio, and they were saying that there's more amateur radio operators now than ever. So, you know, when people say it's dying, well, there are more amateur radio operators today than there are ever was. But it's the hobby is changing, you know. The hobby is changing. So it's yeah, we have to go to National Quiet Zone in West Virginia. That would be nice. With SDR, I would buy a 9500. If I was a millionaire, I would, honestly. But I would not buy a 9500. You know, I would have to be a millionaire. You know. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there that that's crazy. Yeah, almost 3 hours. Almost 3 hours. Ray says, you know what's sad is that we could be the last generation that really got to experience shortwave radio in its glory. It will always be around in some form, but I don't think it will be like it was. You know, that's interesting because we're talking about different things. You know, we're talking a few weeks back about how there's a theory that shortwave commercial stations in the United States still exist because the U.S. government gives them money to stay on. In case of something happening, they would need shortwave frequencies to broadcast on, which is very interesting when you think about it. I remember David in Barcelona saying that one of the things he would have loved to experience is what shortwave was about in the 80s, for example, what I lived through. You know, flipping on that shortwave radio and having so many choices that you just you just got to choose between 10 different English broadcasts. What am I going to listen to today? I mean, the big problem in the 80s and the 70s was having a good enough receiver that you can actually pinpoint that little station in the middle of that huge, you know, a sea of stations of signals. That will probably never come back, but I'm happy to have lived it. And I think, like some of you out there, I miss that time. I miss the time where you would flip on the radio. And I mean, imagine an SDR. We didn't have that back then. Imagine in 1980, a SDR display with all the stations back then. Wow, that must be amazing to look at. There would be lines every 5 kilohertz with tons of stations that we'd listen to. That would be amazing. I think amateur radio as a hobby will continue. There will always be somebody. But things are changing, and you know what I'm scared mostly even more than that, on a in the International Radio Report one of the Sunday mornings that I was there. We talked about the hurricane that affected the East Coast. Hurricane Florence, I think was, and I was mentioning how amateur radio, when there's emergencies, is a very important thing to have. You need to have amateur radio operators because they are the ones that can continue transmitting and can be there when everything else stops working. Ham radio operators are there and capable of transmitting and sending information. I am scared that the amateur hobby would go down because of that side. It is clear that law enforcement and that governments cannot keep up a workable and in a good radio system in times of emergencies. We saw it here in Quebec in 1998 when there was that huge ice storm. Everything that was law enforcement dropped down. It just didn't work anymore. Amateur radio operators were there to do that job. So, you know, it's we need to continue. We need to continue and promote everything, you know. Richard Tribble says, for broadcast mode, it's true, but for utilities, we'll still be there along with the many new modes coming out. You know, one of the things that shortwave is used more, there's a lot of new links of communications that are done on shortwave for different organizations, honestly, you know. And there's still a lot of stuff happening. Shortwave is still, 100 years, it's still going to be used for stuff. But in 100 years, possibly we won't be listening to shortwave for broadcast. But it'll be there to do links around the world for different things. I think it's going to be there. There's going to be different things to listen to. Maybe a lot of encrypted stuff, but you know. Ray says, shortwave in the 80s, 90s was great. I spent a lot of hours back then at night logging stations. It was great. It was amazing times. It was an amazing time. You know what? Why I'm here, or one of the reasons I'm here. You know, when we talk about, because I hear almost every week I see a post or I hear a comment about the death of shortwave. But one of the things that I realize is that we are here right now, not just because some of us, because a lot of us come from an era where there were plenty to listen to. But I think we are here today also, and I'm here using new media, YouTube, to express that and talk about the fact that we don't want it to die. We want to talk about it as much as we can. Because now we even see, you know, in the 80s I was listening in. I remember I was 13 years old, 14 years old, listening to all these stations. You know what? For me, at 14 years old, my way of thinking was that when I'm 50 years old, all these stations are going to still be there. My way of thinking is that, no, we're not going to lose stations. They're all going to be there 50 years, 40 years, 30 years from now. Which is not, you know, already in the 80s. I didn't live the 70s on shortwave. Already in the 80s, it was starting to be a slow decline of shortwave. But it was still a big high. I mean, there were so many things. And I think that what reunites us right now is not just the love of radio. It's the preservation of what's left of it. And what shortwave, you know, everything that we want to keep within the shortwave bands. It's crazy because when you think about it, I mean, we want to preserve what's left. honestly, we do want to preserve what's left. And I think it is important to preserve what's left. MDK2 says, those receivers can really process signals in a way that cheap SDRs can't. I don't know about top-of-the-line SDRs, though, but they might hold their own. I think good SDRs would be able to go through what was in the 80s, but it would have been so funny to see an SDR. You know, if you could go back in time, I would go back in time with my ephedry and see how we can cope with signals everywhere on the bands, honestly. That would be interesting to see. You know? David says, yep, and I still maintain it would have been awesome to be alive back then. I think if I went back in time, I would just feel overwhelmed in a positive way with all the amount of signals. You know, when we talk about the fact that when we have more of something, we don't appreciate what we have. And what I realized today is we had so much choice in the 80s that I did not take the time to appreciate what was there. And there's part of it that's kind of sad today, thinking I didn't take the time to appreciate everything that was up there. That's the interval signal of Greece. E forniti syllabus. We just heard the interval signal of Greece in the background here. So, you know. Max S. Strong says, I have a friend who's retiring and getting ready to sail around the world, outfitting his boat with an HF rig. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's just crazy. Vianney says, in the region here, Gaspésie municipalities and cities have identified amateur radio stations as being important in emergency situations. These stations are listed in municipal emergency plans. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was official amateur radio stations that were actually dedicated for that, for emergencies and times. Oh, that's nice. Well, you know what, David? When I tune around, because David's saying that it's nice that at least in Europe, there's still a choice of different shortwave broadcasts to listen to at night. 3141 meter band can get relatively crowded. Simon Templar, official shortwave radio at gmail.com. Official shortwave radio, 3 words. Official shortwave radio at gmail.com. And when I listen into SDRs from online receivers from Europe, I'm jealous. I'm jealous from you guys in Europe that still have quite a nice choice of stations. I mean, it's amazing. Amazing. You know what, Dark Noise NL, and I don't think that internet killed shortwave. I think money killed shortwave. 6924, 6925. Let's check out for a pirate here. Yeah, look at that. So there's 6924 dot something. So there's a pirate on 6925 AM mode. Yeah, 3780 VNA. I often hear them. 3780. Lower sideband. Here it goes. I've heard that I've heard that net many times, Vianney. So 3780, a French language net here in Quebec. There's also a gang on 3765. I listen regularly, Vianney. More local hams here. 3765. Well, 3765 is under another. That's not a net. That's just a gang of Quebecois hams that actually just you know, tune in. What's that here? Oh, there you go. 6739. Take care, Matt. Always nice to have you on board. The hell? So that's emergency action message from the U.S. Air Force. Gustavo Ramirez, nice to have you here. What'd you say? 9705. 9705. Am I hearing something? Nothing at all here. 6739. Let's go back. Hey, Bobby. Dark Knight says in Germany, for example, is not allowed to sell radio which is AM, FM only. Only radios with digital broadcasting are allowed for sale. Huh. But you know what, Max S. Strong? He says, loves HF radio, but seriously, modern technology. Modern technology doesn't work when something bad is happening. A war or a emergency of some kind of, or bad weather. Modern technology is not useful at all. But HF is. So we got to maintain it, you know. Well, I'll listen a little more, Vianney. Maybe I've heard your call in the past and just not, you know. Yvonne hears French conversation on 6950 upper side band. No, it doesn't have any charm. That you're right, Max Estron. Take care, Simon Templar. Thanks for being here. I hear something very weak on 6950, I gotta say. I just remembered Richard Cook for the time station 4996. Let's check 4996 for RWM. 9996. Nope. Let's try the buzzer. 4625. No buzzer. 94625. Francis Herrera, nice to have you here. Jill, I know you have been asked a million times, but what antenna do you use? I have a 50-foot sloper, but I want to get better reception of shortwave. I've got a, it's about 80-foot sloper in east-west direction. You know what, Francis? What is more important than the antenna, I think, is the noise level. Being able to lower the noise is, I think, the #1 priority today. Of course, the antenna works in that way because having the perfect antenna or loop, magnetic loop or something might help out in lowering the noise. But when you start having 50, 75, or 80 or 100 foot of antenna outdoor, you're already pretty much have a pretty good reception. It's just that the noise is the big problem today. You know, I am filled with noise here where I live, and I'm still lucky because I have a lot of people telling me every day or every week, you know what, you're in a big city and you still hear more than I actually hear where I'm located. So, you know, it's kind of interesting to see this. So hey guys, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We've been on for what, 3 hours and 12 minutes. Hope you enjoyed the show. Be back tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC. It'll be a little shorter. It'll be 2 hours, around 2 hours. I have to be at a YouTube event tomorrow night. I am a privileged man to be at a YouTube event tomorrow, which is kind of cool. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hey, Bill Ross, nice to have you here. Says WBCQ will sell you 1 hour of shortwave for $15. Well, that might actually give me a incentive to do a live show on WBCQ, or a show at least. That could be cool. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, Mickey. We don't really, you know what? My family, nobody here celebrates Thanksgiving in Canada. Not in my vicinity. I'm trying to think of anybody, and because it's Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, and I'm trying to find somebody that does it, and I don't have nobody that celebrates Thanksgiving here. It's funny, eh? You guys, you celebrated, Mickey? You guys in the Western Canada and do it more? Is it more of a Canadian thing than a Quebec thing? Because we have to put it in that sense, because there are some differences. Hey, Mick H, nice to have you here. Jason Stafford, nice to have you here. It's nice to have all of you here, by the way. It's really cool. And I just will post donations if you wish to give me a little something before we go. Jason says, I brought my radio camping last weekend and I thought my radio was broken because there was no noise. It was crazy. I mean, I go to Perry Island and I put the volume of my portable receiver max. It's barely if I hear some crackling. Here, I would not even put the volume more than about 40% because it'd be just a screeching hell of noise. It's just amazing, the difference. So take care, everybody. Tomorrow, 2000 hours UTC. Guys, we'll be here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being great fans. It's always Turkey Day is big out west. Okay, Mickey, that's interesting because, you know, I of course my family is French Canadian, and it's interesting because I do see, and over the years I did see that there was a difference between some of the holidays with Canada. So it's interesting to see that. Here it's like there's kind of nothing special except, you know, a day off work for most people. It's kind of interesting to see that, you know. And it's interesting also. I always, you know, somebody answered the question because it's kind of nice. You know, I mean, American Thanksgiving is next month, and I remember telling everybody, hey, why is it different? And then somebody said, well, you know, you're up north. Thanksgiving is for thanking for, you know, the summer, you know, time of getting all the food and everything. And it's like, oh yeah, it's, of course we're north here, so it happens earlier where it's like the end of, you know, agriculture and everything. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I get it now. But I know that, I think you guys in the US it's Columbus Day. Is that Columbus Day Monday? You guys have Columbus Day, I think, this week, eh? Can somebody confirm Columbus Day? Isn't that this weekend? Thanks, David. It's always a pleasure to be part of. It's always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to have everybody here. Oh, thanks, Brett. So it's Columbus Day on Monday. So you guys in the U.S. also have a holiday. So it's Columbus Day. I thought it was together. I saw something quickly today and was like, I think it's Columbus Day. Take care, everybody. Love you all. And hey, for you, David, we will fade out of the show. So take care, everybody.